We go. You're on.
It's turned.
It's working.
It's turned toward that.
You can't see it.
Huh?
You can't see it.
Oh.
It's just a close-up. Again, we can cut this stuff out, so it's anytime you and I just hem-haul around, it's not going to make it on the final
You want
version.
me to go ahead and talk about this?
Yeah, talk about your grandmother, and then talk about, I guess, the grandparents on your father's side.
It says,
well, you were telling us, just grandparents.
what stories have come down to you about your parents, or something like that?
I skipped that one, but if you've got a good story.
Your parents. Well, I've got a good story. It's a funny one about Mom. Okay, when Mom was Minnie Daniels Newland, she outlived Dad by 20 years plus or minus. And when she was in the nursing home, she fell and broke her shoulder. And then later on she fell and broke her hip. So she had to have constant medical attention, and she was in a nursing home. And we'd go and visit her daily, or not daily. I drove from Lexington every other Sunday, and spent time with her, reading to her, listening to her, and talking to her, and so on. And one day I found I was at a place in Mount Sterling at that farmer's thing, and I found on sale there a bonnet that women in the older times used to wear, and this was cherry red, just as red as you could find. So I bought that, and I brought it to her, and then and I said, now this is things that this kind of a bonnet you used to wear. And she said, well, yeah, but people my age don't wear bonnets like that. And I said, there ain't nobody your age. Of course, she was 100 then, and she lived to be 102 approximately. So I think that's the oldest relative that I can remember. I had an aunt that lived to be 90-some. She was Dad's sister, and well, Aunt Corey lived to be 90. What? And so did another one. I had two aunts that lived to be 90 years old, and Mom lived to be 102. So that is for distance. That's the ones that lived the longest.
You were saying that your grandmother was born in about 1860?
Yeah.
Do you know of any family members that you hear stories of that participated in the Civil War?
Well, yeah, the Civil War, Mom wrote this down, and I had her one time to, I told her when she's down in Florida in the wintertime, she said, I ain't got anything to do. I said, well, write something. And she said, I don't know what to write. And I said, write something about your younger days. And so she wrote about when her and Dad would go to Florida, well, they'd stop at all of these military graveyards and check the roster and see she's looking for her grandfather, who the Yankees came through one day and took him with them. And he had two children. One was, I believe, was just 3 or 4 months old. But he had more children than that. But they picked him up, and they took him with him, and they never did see him anymore. And she, all after that, when she'd go down south, and they went every year for about 20 years, really. They went down to Wishy-Washy Springs, or in that neighborhood, and they'd spend their winters down there, and we'd go down and pick them up, bring them back in the spring. But she always wanted to stop at all those cemeteries and try to find out where her daddy was buried down there or something.
But you don't know which side of the conflict they served on, or?
The Yankees took him, so I think that
he was on the southern side.
He was the southern. Of course, Kentucky was half and half. Not much more than that.
Let's see.
But I knew she was as what you might say a Southern sympathizer, because she thought the Yankees was dogs.
Well, let's see here. Are there any stories about famous or infamous relatives in the family?
Now, I don't know of any of them that's run into much fame. They were unusual in as much as long as I remember, they all worked for a living. And so that, now, Dad, he was in World War One. He was taken down to Louisville, at the base outside of Louisville there, and he was.
Hold on one second.